Yeah. And I was saying like even the case is damn near contradicting, because I'm like, damn, if y'all didn't, first of all, if y'all left us alone and didn't give us an identity crisis and all this other shit, we wouldn't even need a police force. We wouldn't even need a DA. And it's like, how you gonna lock up somebody? Like, you made this area, first of all, you destroyed the land with highways, freeways, told the people they belong somewhere else, and you took away all the resources, and you just expect them to survive, and like all of a sudden you throw out like it's contradicting, because it's like y'all got to be held accountable too, like.
Yeah.
And it's like us being caring, like day by day, it's like it's like we give people the benefit of the doubt, because we wouldn't do that shit,
Ain't no
you know.
benefit in doubt. Fuck that shit. Don't give them nothing.
Right, and it's showing it every day. Like people are like, it's like with us, we'll be so quick to fight each other, but then when it comes to the police or the government, we talk about praying and shit. But it's like no, and
No, but see, this is where the problem come in with that though. This is why we like that. The paperwork that's all fraudulent, it say it right in the paperwork that it's a fraud.
right.
Okay, now all that fraudulent paperwork make them look like they are really the correct jurisdictional authority.
Yeah, and
But it's all a constructed fraud.
right. They're not even supposed to be. So anything that comes out.
Right, but the paperwork, we've been convinced that the legitimacy of the paperwork proves who they wrote the fucking paperwork though. Yeah, we never forget that part. They created the paperwork that they want us to file with them to tell us that we free.
Right. Tell us what to do on our
The
own.
oppressive system is never going to give you the keys to get out of the kingdom.
No, because if it does, you won't need them.
But our ancestors would.
Right. And it's happening.
Elijah told you what they said when he said, accept your own and be yourself. Hey, nephew, I want to take a couple more people in on here. Cause I get on one person. I be especially like, you know, we be vibing on this.
Yeah.
But I want to get a couple sisters in here before I go.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me. Thank you to everyone who tuned into the live. Follow me. Sigil 7 is out now. Hopefully next live I could probably play it for you guys, but I think you'll like it.
All right, I catch that with you, nephew.
For sure. All right, Chief.
Like he's the beast and all this, but I've been looking at his quotes lately, and it seemed to me like he wasn't really like. It don't seem like he was. I'm not gonna say a bad person, but like he was just saying to be yourself and not to be under tyranny and stuff like that. You know.
Well, the first principle of the Lima is do as thou wilt should be the whole of the law, will and the love.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I seen quotes like that, and I'm like, damn, this don't sound like no beast. You know what I'm saying? It don't sound like no beast to me. This just sound like he telling you to be yourself.
Look, his path is called the left-hand path.
The left-hand path.
It's the path of severity.
Severity.
There's two pillars, Joaquin and Boaz. One is mercy and one is severity.
Okay.
These are priestly training apparatuses based on the temperament of the individual. For the people that got hostile nature, that like to fuck shit up, and they want the biggest bang for the buck, take the left-hand path. But also the greatest suffering come with the left-hand path. That's Alistair Crowley found out.
Okay.
Now with the right-hand path, you can get stuck being too righteous. And now your suffering is predicated upon people using you as a stepping stool. And you ain't getting nowhere with your life. Right? Right?
Yeah.
And then you have what's known as the middle pillar, as Israel Regardie wrote about. The middle pillar is what they call continuously using the straight path.
Both straight.
Right. And the straight path in Islam is called Sirata Mustaqim, the straight and narrow way. Right? Okay. It's the hardest path to follow. there's the straight path. Because the straight path, you can't get stuck. You're going to constantly grow, but you're going to reap your karmic debt as you reward as it comes. Good, bad, or indifferent. If you fuck up, you're going to get fucked up. If you bump straight, you're going to get straightened out. Right? So all of it is in schools to learn from a different angle of information, right? And so they tell you how evil Crowley was in hopes that you be so righteous that you won't go and investigate for yourself. Right? If you taking the Sirata Mustaqim, you studying all of it, but you don't believe none of that shit. That shit don't got nothing to do with you. You just need to look at it from their angle so you can see what they're looking at.
Okay.
But then that gives you what's known as a holographic effect, because now you can see all of the angles from every angle. Right? So now you can see the whole of the hologram by looking at the parts of the pieces. Right? And this is what makes you become what's known as an oracle reader, where you learn that by listening to the oracle and watching her perceive information, you know how spirit is telling her to deliver a message. You can help her to refine the message. This is why men have to learn how to read a woman, because sometimes she don't want to be bitchy. But because y'all speak in two different languages, she think that's the only thing you can hear.
That's right.
She listening with her heart, but you hearing with your brain. So when you talk back to her, you talking to her heart, but it's coming from your brain. The Japanese is talking to the Chinese and won't nobody translate nothing.
Okay.
You're not gonna never have no effective communication like that. Somebody got to be wise enough to bring a goddamn translator in to teach one of us how to translate this shit. Because we're not supposed to be on here. Our biggest discussion of the day is how fucked up these narcissistic niggas is, or these how slutty these slimy whores is. Now that's not, like, I'll be looking at the people that complain about the way men is because they want to change you, but they don't want to change them. And that's where the problem comes in. Whether it's the male or the female, it don't matter. They want to change everybody else. They want to blame everybody else, but don't nobody want to change themselves to make themselves functional for what they want. Look, the law of the universe is the more qualified you are, the more you're responsible to carry the function. If you are qualified to be a billionaire because you developed yourself to be the type of person that should be handling the $1 billion, the life will make it happen. But we don't want to do that kind of work. We don't want to try to understand what a billionaire's life is like. It ain't got nothing to do with making money. It's about manifestation of a reality based on the perceptual understanding in the laws of physics. That's all. It's conceptual physics for me. A puzzle in the open.
Uncle, what would you say is like the ultimate connection of the brain with the heart, like the balance of it?
That's when your kundalini rises. That's what causes it to. See, your brain beats the same as your heart. But we in what's called a left brain dominant social structure, designed to dampen the effects of the right brain. When you can get the right brain's creativity and the left brain's intellectual capacity equally stimulated, for the brain to now pump with both sides at the same time. They call it hemisync. Meaning synchronization of the two hemispheres of the brain. While only one side is pumping, you're only pumping what's called the silver liquid, which is regular cerebral spinal fluid. You can't wake up until you balance the two hemispheres with the hemisync. Then when both of them are pumping, then it activates two more pumps, right? Okay, the brain itself is doing this. And your medulla sits over the base of the brain as your balance center, but it's also a pump right at the base of your spine. And then in the bony tissue at the back of your pelvis plate, there is a spongy pump. When both hemispheres of the brain start pumping, the spongy pump at the root begins to push the sacred secretion up like mercury in the thermostat. When you get to the four chambers of the brain, the gold liquid activated by the pineal gland's inner light will shine through your third eye and give your face a glow. And that's what they call the awakening of the Christ, which is actually your sacred anointing, is what it means. And the facsimiles used in rituals is olive oil, alligator spinal fluid oil, crocodile spinal fluid oil, and any similarly looking gold liquid. Is used in the ceremonies of the big mamas to bless the babies in the old Sobek ritual from the temple priest to say this one is going to be this kind of priest or that kind of priest based on his temperament at birth. Not when, like when my big mama, she did her test the baby thing on me. She told my mama I was somebody called the Baron. You know, look at Shirley, look like you got the Baron, baby. And we know that Baron is Baron Samadhi, the Baron of the crossroads. So that became my loa for life. That's how they do it. That's the voodoo ceremony. Big Mama tell, do you do your tests, temperament tests, especially when they evaluating the potential chief. They know about parentage and birth order and where you stand in the community. How you gonna be able to deal with and handle others. And that's why we didn't believe in only child. Because you use the pecking order of the family in order to give structure to the child. So when you go out into the world, he understands rank and structure, and he know how to work better with his comrades or his local community. The reason they was feeding our babies to the alligators is because the alligators wouldn't attack us. The alligators, they had to be provoked with an unfamiliar enemy, and then they tossed our babies in the gator bait, because we used to ride alligator backs into combat in the Gullah Wars. They had Sobek priests from Louisiana to southern tip of Florida that used to ride around on alligator backs. And because the alligators would attack the invaders, but they wouldn't attack the native, they wanted, when they were setting the habitat on fire, you can still see scorched earth in Florida from this shit when you go down 75 into the Keys. So they used the babies to change the psychological makeup of the alligator. Once it got a taste of our flesh, they was able to get it to continuously eat our flesh.
Wow.
It wasn't just our babies they called spooks. The term spook is what was applied to stealth warriors in history because they didn't have a name for them. And then over time, by cultural development, the spook began to mean some kind of incarnate spirit or something.
Wow.
Right? But the original meaning was those stealth priests, because when you read what some of the natives left from the oral traditions, they would explain how the giant wolf. It wasn't no giant wolf. That was one of them big ass 7-foot tall Crips with a wolf pelt on whooping your ass. Or one of them motherfucking 360-pound Bloods holding the door with motherfucking elk skins on whooping your ass. You know, those animal totems is telling in the mythology of what the story is that we can see it from our cultural lens. When we understand the totem tribes are the oldest tribes on earth. And we the only people use totems. Some tribes in Africa use totems, but they don't use them like we do.
I was reading like by like a silent war like that they had declared on our people, and I was like wondering, like, I heard you say something before about like is it still, or is it still war on us, like silent war? I heard you say something before about, I was reading about pheromones, how like if you flood the air with pheromones it'd make the people fearful. You know, I was wondering because I know like where like I live at, it's kind of a bad neighborhood, but everybody's kind of like nervous a little bit, and I was just wondering like is we still kind of under attack, like with certain